Welcome everyone to my first matchup tutorial. I reached all my sub goals, so that's why I'm doing these videos, and this is going to be my first one, and it's going to be ZVT. How to open against mech or bio, it doesn't matter, how to open against Terran mainly. And my good friend Soul here helped me with a couple of custom games, and I think he played 3 pretty standard build orders, and I will also explain later what you do against other build orders. So first of all, I'll focus on my own build, and then just explain how I would react in different scenarios as well. So first of all, I'm gonna go hedge first in all the games. I think hedge first is the most standard opening. With hedge first though, the one thing that is problematic against is against 2-rex. That's why I'm scouting with these overlords. Like I'm scouting a bit for proxy barracks, like here. There could be proxy barracks here. More commonly, there's proxy barracks here. Wait, if I would see proxy barracks with these overlords, the way I defend it is I pull 2 or 3 drones first to deny them from making the bunker, and then pull like maybe 10 more drones shortly before the bunker is done to try to surround the marines, make 1 spine at the low ground, make zerglings. And yeah, that's how I defend 2-rex. Maybe I'm gonna do an extra video on that, because it's actually, there's a lot of different ways to hold it. There's actually a lot of right ways to hold it too. It's just a lot about knowing that it's coming. That's what I'm scouting for here. Wait, let me just rewind here just a bit to see my exact opening. So I went 17 hedge, then the next 2 drones, the next one gets ready into the gas, that's an 18 gas. And then a 17 pool. The most standard Zerg opening. You can play it in all the 3 matchups, and it's really safe against anything. Oops, let's stay in my vision. So yeah, just a couple more drones. 19 Overlord. And I'll send this one here. This is the Overlord I will scout with. I'm actually not sure if you can, on the new patch, send your first Overlord here safely. On the old patch you couldn't, especially if they made a barracks on the low ground. I'm not sure if you can now. I should honestly try it. So I stay in gas with all 3 drones after speed. I actually will cancel speed. Wait, this is the 20th drone, by the way, the drone I make after the Overlord. I just rally it here. I will cancel speed here to get the hatchery down at 28 supply before the Reaper can even arrive. We will see where the Reaper is now. The Reaper is here. But my opponent went gas first. Reaper that wasn't gas first could be a bit further, either here or here. And this will hit before any of the Reapers are here. On different maps, on Blackpink and Catalyst, it's also 28 hatchery is also fine, 27 against normal Reaper though. On Abyssal it's actually 26 if you want to put the hatch down before the Reaper. And on Odyssey it's also 28. What other map is there? I mean Boardwalk. You can't be there before the Reaper is there unless you go for the gold base. But let's just speed to that map, okay? And yeah, okay. So the Reaper arrives. I cancel speed. So you might think this is greedy, but it's actually not greedy. The only thing this is bad against is 3-rex Reaper, which our opponent isn't doing, and on high level really no one is doing it anymore ever since the Reaper nerf. By the way, this screen looks like it's borrowed. So if on your MMR 3-rex Reaper is still a thing and you have trouble dealing with it, don't cancel the speed. Instead, you still go there with the drone to create the 3rd hatch, but you hide it until you have 30 supply, and then you get it, and you just let the speed. You don't cancel the speed at all. This is actually really good against 3-rex Reaper, having the 3rd hatch down already. You don't need to worry about it. You can go double inject right away. But yeah, 3-rex Reaper shouldn't really be a problem anymore anyways. So that's why this is completely fine to do. The speed will finish as soon as the first 4 Hellions can be here. The first 2 Hellions, if your opponent runs it by you, I need some micro, but 2 Hellions don't one-shot drones, so that's not that scary of a run by, so no Terran really does it anyways. And yeah, 31 is the next Overlord. Notice that my Overlord positioning is this. There will be 1 Overlord here, 1 here. The next 2 I will send here, and here to basically get vision all around my base to see what's going on. The first two is always very important to see where the Hellions are coming from, where you can put the creep tumors down, this kind of stuff. Soul actually loses his Reaper here, that usually doesn't happen obviously. Then as soon as this inject pops, these two drones will be rallied into gas. So as soon as this inject pops, it's gonna be at 34 to 36 supply. You rally those two drones into the gas. Because a lot of times people ask me when I send back the drones into gas. And yeah, instead of the second inject, you put a creep tumor down here. That's also the reason why I make 4 Zerglings instead of 2, is usually if the Reaper is still alive, which is gonna be the case, you zone out the Reaper with the 4 Zerglings to put down the creep tumor on the edge. And yeah, you will notice there's I don't have an Overlord right now, even though it's 44 out of 44. That is because my hatch will finish soon. I will make an Overlord at 44 out of 44, and then I will make 1 queen here and 1 queen here. That is on purpose. That's because we make the hatch this early. That is completely fine to do. So Overlord finishes at 330. Now we can scout in. Spread the creep, obviously. This queen, instead of injecting, will put down a creep tumor. You will see with this early hatch, it's fine to not inject right now. It's absolutely fine. Put down a creep tumor and make drones, and you will see this 44 out of 4 Overlord will be done perfectly, in perfect time. So we see there's Cloak right now on the way. I do want to see if there's a Banshee on the way or not. That's why I stay here for a bit with the Overlord. You can also try to run away. Like, if I was to run away, because very often it's going to be a Viking, I would run away, like, I would show him that I run away down here and then go here and then go in again to check what his follow-up is. Also, there can be Banshee Hellbat. Usually that will be with 8 Hellbats, so I put down a Baneling nest. As I said before, I have 2 queens building right here, inject, and the next queen here. Exactly, so absolutely standard. Yeah. I see that it's a Viking now. He could also... So there is a lot of different follow-ups from this. He could just cancel this Cloak and go for a medevac and then drop 4 Hellbats here, attack with 4 Hellbats here, and a Viking or whatever, and then a Liberator here. Stuff like that could definitely happen, but since I'm not sure, I will still make the spores. It kind of sucks. I could follow up scout to see what's up here, but I don't want to lose any more Overlords. This build is pretty tight, so you don't really want to send out like 3 Overlords and they all randomly die to a Viking. That would be really bad. So yeah, I will go Lair before Evo Chambers. I basically always do it unless it's 3cc, and I have a 3cc replay prepared for you guys later as well. So yeah, right now I don't know how many Hellions are coming. I don't know if there's a Banshee on the way at all. Always, by the way, make 10 to 14 Zerglings against potential Hellion run bys. Otherwise, 4 Hellions will can always run into your base. Like, if the queens are here, the Hellions could drive by here and do massive damage. So always make 10 to 14 Zerglings at least to be safe against those Hellions, or a Hellion drop as well. So your Zerglings should always be around this area to protect your drones. And still quick enough to move over here as soon as you see the Hellions coming in. So I see there's a bench here, or actually I didn't see it because it's cloaked. As long as Hellions are on creep, you can basically try to surround them, do a lot of damage to the queens. No problem. You can see as soon as the bench arrives with cloak, my lair is already done, so I can get an overseer. He's going bio, we don't know that yet. That's why I'm going for carapace first. I go for missile, I mean. I will go for double upgrades either way, no matter if it's mech or not. But if it's mech, I prefer missile. If it's bio, I prefer melee, but it's actually not that bad to go missile anyways, because we will play Hydra LingBane. Just a quick explanation for Hydra LingBane. It is, I think, the easiest style to play. It's super safe. It's very easy to hold attacks with it. It is good against both bio and mech, so you don't really need to think a lot when doing it. And you can rush Hive against both, which is very important. So now I will go missile because I don't have a scout yet. This is going to be my follow-up scout. I will take this fort base. Yeah. Just a very, very standard game. Cloak Banshee into bio against LingBane Hydra. As soon as I see that it's bio, I see it now because there's stem, I will get Baneling Speed ASAP. I actually forgot it quite a bit here. You should get it ASAP because the most scary thing that can happen is not those 2 medevacs, because we already have 4 queens with a lot of energy, but not those 2 medevacs, but 4 medevacs actually. Like if he makes 2 more and drops a lot of marines, you really want Baneling Speed in time against this. This is still in timing for the possibility of it. So there's not much that can happen to you. I would suggest to make at least 20 to 30 Zerglings against this aggression, and as soon as you defend it, you can drone up your mineral line here. And yeah, always have like the ring of vision around your base. I actually killed the Viking this game earlier. I missed it right now because of bad observing, but I actually killed the Viking, so I moved forward these Overlords. I should also put some Overlords here. I see this medevac, that's why I try to intercept it with the Hydras. But never forget, so you can see I'm using 2 control groups here. Never forget that those 2 medevacs are still around too. If you forget about them, he will clear up creep, he will come here. So just split up your army nicely and you should be fine against that. And yeah, about this hive timing, I will go media upgrades now, because as I said against bio, I prefer media upgrades, but missile are also not that bad. About the hive timing, as soon as the Hydra then is done, basically, you can pop down an infestation pit and start the hive very, very early. Like with just LingBane Queen, you can basically defend the first medevacs without a problem, and you can be pretty efficient because you have Baneling Speed on creep. You don't want to fight off creep. Yeah, like it's really not that expensive if you think about it. The infestation pit and the hive. Ascension to Iron is definitely also a big map, so you can afford it. But on any map, really, you can rush hive with this style pretty safely. So I saw that he goes in here, that's why I went in here. I actually got a medevac with my queens. In those little fights, always try to focus down the medevacs. You can also set up runways. I didn't do that this game because I wanted to just show a purely defensive style. Try to get up to hive, try to get ultras out. That's kind of I think the easiest way to play ZVT against bio right now. Okay, so here comes this push. I see how much army it is. You can always try to fight unsieged if you have a lot of banelings ready. In this case I didn't have a lot of banelings ready, so I didn't. And my hive is already done. If he wasn't right in front of my base, I would try to get up Vipers. Like if I see him pushing out right here and my hive is done, I will start like 3 Vipers because they're very good against both Liberators as well as tanks. But in this case, I will just try to get as many Banelings, tank a lot of shots with the Creep Queens, that's where my Creep Queens are moving here. And just take a big fight with as many Banelings as possible. And always make sure, on every map as possible, to attack from at least 2 angles. If possible from 3 or like try to get a nice surround here. Meanwhile, very important to have vision everywhere, otherwise there could be like a double drop coming here. But yeah, since he's right in front of my base, I didn't get Vipers out. I just want LingBane Hydra, and since there's still some creeper, and I saw him unsieging here, I want to engage.
Under attack.
You always go in with the creep queens first. They tank some tank damage. See, this tank is shooting at the queens. These Hellbats and Marines are shooting at the queens. And now you just go in. It's just how to micro this. It's you send in the queens first. You select everything and you A move. I have a second hotkey for my Banelings. I move command the Banelings because they tank a lot more than. And then what you do is basically just split up the Banelings a bit, so they don't clump up completely. Also with move commands. And transfuse on the queens. Not much else to do. Also Ultra Cavern on the way. I was pretty confident I could hold this, because this was a very, very early push. And yeah, this game at this point is just over. If he pushed any later, like with 2-2, I would have gotten out Vipers first. I probably wouldn't have tried to get out Ultras. Instead, just max out with Hydra, LingBane, Viper, and then engage once, and then you can get Ultra safely. My next upgrades would have been +3 armor and +2 melee. I got this 5th base on the way. As soon as you think you're safe in late game against Bio, get at least 8 gases, start getting pathogen glands and festers, even though they can't fungal while being borrowed anymore, they're still very good. Fungal just in general is very good. It's what you need if you want to fight off creep. And yeah, eventually get a Spire. You can also get a greater Spire for Broodlords. Just, and yeah. Like this was a pretty standard game against Bio. We didn't do anything fancy. You don't need a lot of APM for this defensive style. It's all about just a nice and clean gameplay. Okay, so the next map is also Ascension to Ire again, but this time he's gonna go for a more aggressive opening. Since I'm doing the same opening again with the Overlord speed and everything, let me talk a bit about what different kinds of openings there are for Terran. There is, we just saw the Hellion with Cloak Banshee, with Viking first. It's a pretty standard opening. It can also transition into mech or into bio, you don't really know. Unless you see like there's 12 Hellions or something, then you always know that it's mech. Then there is the opening which he's gonna do now, Hellbat drop, Hellion run by. You can also, sometimes it's also just Hellbats straight up at 2 places at once and then a Liberator. Then there's the mine drop into Hellbats that starts with Marine first, so they go for 6 mines and a mine and the medevac, and then they attack very quickly with 4 Hellbats. Against that you want Banelings. And sometimes that's followed up by Banshee, usually also by Liberator. Like a lot of these build orders, it's very important during the action, during the, wait, I don't want this, wait, okay. During the action, during the actual attack, you should always try to keep an eye out for Liberators that could show up anywhere. Okay, so same again, just scouting here for proxy barracks, same opening. The next very common opening, especially into mech right now, is Cyclone Marine drop. Like 1 Cyclone, 4 Marines in a medevac, then they run by 3 Hellions, and then at the 3rd base they attack with the Liberator. Like there's nothing special about these builds, it's just you need to be prepared with the right amount of units at the right point. Usually against the Cyclone drop, for example, I make 20 Zerglings, I don't really need any Banelings. I split the Zerglings up 10 and 10. I have the Queens wherever the medevac is, and I just defend the Liberator with usually the Queen that is at that base where the Liberator comes, and then I pull down the Queen from the middle base. Usually the Liberator goes here, Cyclone Marine drop goes here, Hellion goes here. You can also split up your Queens, it's no big deal. But even just the Queen from the base clearing up the Liberator, you will always lose some mining time, but it's not a big deal. And then there's just a normal Marine Hellbat attack, the earliest possible. That's why we make our Baneling nest at 340. That is the earliest possible Marine Hellbat, and you can basically defend it. You will have 5 Queens with this build against it and Banelings ready. That's all you need against it. And then there's also one build order where Terran just attacks here with 8 Hellbats and then flies the Liberator in here and has a 30cc behind it at home. It's a very standard mech opening at the moment with a very early double Tor drop as a follow-up. A lot of these builds have double Tor drop, by the way, as follow-up if they go into mech. The more then some of the bio openings, most of the bio openings are 3cc openings, so 3cc, just standard 3cc with 2 or 4 Hellions, then 3cc with Hellion Banshee, that's the one you did before, even sometimes without Cloak. Then there is, by the way, I saw a medevac here first, he didn't open Viking. This can also be opened with Viking. So I positioned my Queen here and the Zerglings here. Now I see he's going here, so I put the Creep Queens here. As well as these Zerglings are always there against the Hellbat / Hellion drop or Hellion run by. And yeah, there's one more opening, sorry, I want to finish the list of openings first. There's the 2 Rex Stim drop, which is just Reaper first and then no Hellions, just 2 Rex Stim drop. Against that, with this build, you just make, go for double, I actually go for double upgrades, but I check if he's building Hellbats instead of double medevac. If he goes Hellbats, then I make a Baneling nest, if not, I don't make a Baneling nest. And against that, I just want 30 Zerglings ready with 5 Queens against the double medevac, and then there's gonna be, then you can basically drone up fully, try to get relatively early Baneling speed and just defend the 4 medevacs with a lot of Zerglings, some Banelings, and the 5 queens. Those are the most standard openings. I think I might have forgotten 1 or 2, but most of them are pretty logical to defend. You just need to split your army up correctly. So here I did a pretty big mistake, which is mainly because I didn't have vision right here. I already knew this would happen because I saw the armory with my Overlord, but you can't just, you should have your Zerglings under these Hellions, honestly.
Queen birth successful.
Now I didn't, so what I do is I pull this queen up here.
Creep tumor under attack.
I put those 2 queens here. Now I see there's a Hellion run by here, so I put the creep queens here.
Under attack.
And the Zerglings are against the Hellion run by. Always against the Hellion run by. Those Banelings against the Hellbat drop.
Swarm forces.
And now keep an eye on the minimap so you don't lose this queen. If you lose this queen, it's always very bad. So yeah, this is...
forces under attack.
In an optimal world, I would have the Zerglings down here, some Banelings here with the 2 queens, and I would use my crew queens to shut down this Liberator even quicker than I did now. I lost 7-8 drones, but that's fine for the investment. I got the medevac, I got the Liberator. So overall units lost is equal. I go for a rather early lair. I already like this build can actually also go into bio, so I need to check. But right now my build doesn't really deviate. I go double Evo and Hydra LingBane anyways. And now I see that's most likely a double Tor drop follow up. I see there's a reactor here. Double Factory Attack Lab. Just drones, drones, drones. Also, remake the if you lose the Zerglings, remake the Zerglings. Most of these openings, especially if they're into mech, they always keep making Hellions. So always have at least 10 Zerglings ready, at least 10. Rather more than less. And yeah, so I see it's a double Tor drop. Against this, you can easily make 66 drones. In this case, I made 70. What you want against this is, right now I see he didn't sack Hellions in a long time. A lot of players just keep trying to get in with Hellions. He lost the medevac, so he couldn't drop any. In this case, you want a lot of Banelings and a lot of, like, first of all, wait, this is way too quick. First of all, you want a lot of Banelings to clear up the Hellbats. I did a mistake here this game, which is not having enough Banelings ready. And I don't think I waited for the Ling Speed as well.
Newly birthed queen.
So yeah, now this arrives. My Baneling Speed is almost done. Actually, I'm not sure why I don't have times here. And these are all my Banelings. Hydras by double Tors get 1 shot. And like Hydras and Queens alone suck against Tors. That's why, first of all, I hide my Zerglings here. First of all, you want to clear up the Hellbats. That's the most important part. And then you come in with Hydra Zergling to clear up the Tors.
Mineral field exhausted.
So in this case, I managed to focus on medevacs. I have a lot of Hydras in production. I will explain why I have a drop alert in just a bit here. And he tried to at least escape with 1 of the Tors, but he will end up losing all the Tors. I lost quite a bit too. You can see in units lost, I'm actually behind, even though I killed 2 Tors and 2 medevacs. The easiest way I think to deal with mech is to go for a timing with around 66 to 74 drones, 6 gas. I think he laser places with 5 gas. And you just mass Hydras, Banes, and my 4 creep queens. I put them in 1 Overlord. Actually, I stole this idea from Impact. Put them in this Overlord, and I dropped them right before I engage to tank a lot of tank fire. It's, I think, one of the best attacks you can do. But so what I do instead now is I still want to go for the attack. I want to hit with 1-1, by the way. You don't necessarily need the carapace upgrade against it. You can also just go +1 missile. He actually takes this base, which is a lot better against this push than this base, because here you can come in from more of a surround. Usually mech players will actually take this base. Sol is the only one that doesn't. I think I set up some Overlord drops. Yep. Some Overlord drop here, some Overlord drop here. So that I will deal with guaranteed damage. Like either his Hellions are at the front, and I can deal damage with the Overlord drop Zerglings, or I just crush his tanks because there's no Hellions / Hellbats to tank. But this is already not the best position for me since the Tor drop kind of wrecked me. So you can hit with this like a solid 30-40 seconds earlier if you had a very good early game. So the drops come in. I actually also see this. He's actually completely out of position, so what happens here is I just kill his base. And I kill him obviously resetting. Same time Zerglings here. I see that I saw first that there's only 4 aliens here, so I kinda wanted to go in, but there were too many tanks here. Usually if you hit this correctly, there should only be 4 tanks after they go double Tor drop. If they don't go double Tor drop, you can hit even earlier and there's still gonna be only 4 tanks, or sometimes 6. But even against 6, double Tors tanks a lot, so tank a lot, so just try to hit as early as possible. You really need Hydra speed, and that's basically the only thing you really need for this. So I killed this base, now I'm just ahead. My transition will be to go into Vipers and Ultras. And basically what you want to do is you want to still stand on the map so you can't push out for free. You should do that anyways and always against mech. You can leave some units behind for potential Hellion run-bys, but always stay out on the map. Don't just go home. See, now we can make him siege again. And actually, if he doesn't siege in time, you can do this. Just take a direct engagement. Come from multiple angles. And he felt like he needed to attack. He probably needed to. He was behind in economy. He had like 7 factories already though. But yeah, so he basically just attacked and died. Usually what my playset with Hydra LingBane would be, as a follow-up, would be Vipers, Ultras, and then eventually Broodlord Infestor is the goal I want to go to. My other playstyle is Hydra LingBane Swarmhost, and I play that on Abyssal and Catalyst because I think those are the best maps for Swarmhost, and sometimes Blackpink. And yeah, but usually just Hydra LingBane into Vipers. You can also play that right away. You don't need to do this attack, but I think because a lot of players struggle with mech right now, I think this is the easiest way to beat mech. Like this is just, I'm just trying to find you guys the easiest way to deal with mech. And even though this opening didn't go perfectly, the 2 Ling drops just distracted him enough in this game to get the victory for us. Okay, and now the third game is going to be on Abyssal Reef, which is probably considered the best map for Terran right now, together with Blackpink. I just wanted to show a different map. In this game he will open 3cc and go into bio again. I'm not sure how much mech is being played compared to bio. I think it's probably, like, especially in different leagues. And Grandmaster I think is a bit more mech, but I think overall it's 50-50, maybe even more bio probably, from what I've heard. So it's just gonna be 17 hatch again. And on this map actually 3x Reaper is still pretty decent, especially if you take this space. So this game I won't cancel the Zergling speed, I will get the Zergling speed and hide my drone to get a 3rd hatch. You can also always do this, you don't have to cancel the Zergling speed if you prefer this. But just remember to not to actually get the Overlord at 39 supply then. Because if you remember before, we got supply block at 44 on purpose. That was because our 3rd hatch was very early. We couldn't do this again here with this build order. So that's what basically changes. On this map I scout for proxy barracks here and then just leave an Overlord here in case there's any proxy barracks over here. And I also poke here because actually one Terran, I believe it was actually so, completely blank counter me because I would always scout like this with one Overlord and like this with the other Overlord for proxy barracks, and he actually just put the barracks here, which is pretty insane because the normal Overlord path would be, like if I just go to his base, would be like this. So yeah, I'm just scouting for this. On most maps, I think if you, it's just safe to leave your Overlord outside of your natural if you don't know all the proxy barracks locations. The time to leave is at 150. At 150, the bunker rush would already be starting, so you would already see SCVs, you can pull drones. At 150, I leave this Overlord to start creating the ring of vision around my base. This is also very important here because there's an air blocker, so you need an Overlord here anyways. I will see Hellions coming here, any air units This will be my second Overlord, seeing Hellions coming from here. So yeah, I will hide this drone. This is again the 20th drone, the drone you make after the 19 Overlord. 4 Zerglings against the Reaper. On Abyssal, if your opponent, especially if your opponent doesn't go for gas first Reaper, it's very common to even lose a Zergling.
Successful.
So don't feel bad about that at all. On Abyssal you also don't need 4 Zerglings to defend the creep tumor, but I think you should still make 4 Zerglings to not lose a drone.
Newly birthed queen.
Because
ready.
on Abyssal you actually, especially if I expand like this, you can put your first creep tumor here and it will spread down all the way here. Just a bit to why I take this base. I believe it's a lot better against Rex Reaper. That's the reason why I took it initially. But the creep spread you get is actually a lot better, and it's super open, so you can just surround any units going from anywhere. And tank pushes from here aren't the problem. I had some troubles on this map, especially tank pushes that are coming from here. If you take this base, Terrans will most likely attack from here. And if they do attack from here, you have a lot more time. You can counter-attack, you can intercept reinforcements and take this base as 4th and 5th.
Swarm forces.
So that's the reason why
attack.
I take this as my 3rd base. You'll see now I put the creep tumor down. I took this hedge at 30 supply, by the way, or 31. And yeah, pulled 2 drones out of gas after I got Overlord speed again. Pulled them, rallied them back in here with my first inject.
Evolution complete.
Everything
Swarm
normal. I got the
has
Overlord.
evolved.
At 39 I got my second creep queen. And at 41 I get the Overlord. You will be supply blow slightly here too, but I found this to be the best way because I will be at 16 and 17 anyways. And then the Overlord finishes, and now is usually the time to make some Zerglings against Hellions. So yeah, see? So the supply block also is very slight and it doesn't really do anything. So I found that the most optimal way. Now we scout, we see it's A, bio, because I clicked this, it was barracks. And B, it's 3cc. You still even against 3cc, you still need the 10 Zerglings because especially with this build, Terrans very often just YOLO their Hellions in. Because this build requires scouting and good reactions if they want to hold anything, so yeah. I actually have a slight supply block here, so I make more Overlords in one. The one difference, usually I go lair first every time, right? And then go double upgrades. Against 3cc I prefer going double armor first. Against 3cc bio. Wait, I will show you guys the difference. As soon as I see that it's 3cc, I will go put them in evolution chamber. And a second gas. So I can go +1 carapace, then lair, then +1 melee, and then Baneling nest. Because against this build, they have very early 4 medevacs with a lot of marines. So you need early Baneling nest, and I want to keep up with the upgrades as well. Usually they also go double eBay very early. So I see 3cc, bam, second gas, bam, evo chamber. And yeah, in case you're wondering, by the way, when I usually get my second gas, I get it as soon as I start the lair. I don't think I explained it in the last couple of games, so I'm gonna explain it now. And the additional geysers, I basically you get them as soon as you have 16 drones here and 16 drones here, or rather it's 18 and 18, and then you just get the other 4 gases at once, if that makes sense. You basically always want to have, always want to be fully saturated on the mineral line, and then get your gases as Zerg. Okay, yeah, he goes double eBay, just standard. We just get creep out. So this base is very, very good to get creep out early and where you really need it. Like this is their pushing pattern.
Swarm forces under attack.
He obviously can't do anything with 4 Hellions against 4 Queens. If this happens, just pull the drones away. If you would chase the drones here, my links are standing here, by the way, usually for the Hellion run by. Now I obviously see they're here, so my links go here. If they would have chased the drones, they would have just died to the Zerglings. So yeah, I went carapace. My gas went like this: carapace, then 100 and lair, another 100 and melee, 50 and Baneling nest, and the next will be Ling Speed, and then I will make +2/+2, and we'll hydro them as soon as the lair finishes too. And yeah, the 4th base you just get as soon as you get the 300 minerals for it. Like the 4th base always, as soon as you're basically saturated, or sometimes even before, if you have the 300 minerals, you will get the 4th base. There's no magic timing for it, just Try to get it as early as possible. As soon as you're safe and as soon as you can afford it. So now I get the hididng. I should start Baneling Speed. I forgot it here a bit again. This is actually a huge mistake. Like, getting Baneling Speed on time is really important. This is still early enough, but just try to get it as soon as your lair is done. Like, you should have a mental checklist as soon as your lair is done. Hididng, Baneling Speed, Overseer to scout, if you don't know if it's mech or bio yet, and an Overseer just in general for your army to, in case, I wanted to say in case there's widow mines, we can actually detect them now anyways. But yeah, I still have the habit of just getting one for the main army anyways. So we have more than enough units for the first 2 medevacs. You can, for a while, chase them and not let them unload so they can't trade too well. I already have +1 carapace, so he doesn't really do anything. At this point I leave the medevacs alone because there could already be 2 more medevacs. I think Soul went for tanks right away and 2-2. So he didn't have the gas for 2 more medevacs. Oh no, never mind. I'm completely wrong. There's the other 2 medevacs. So this is why I left the medevacs alone. And basically just replenished the creep you lost. And you can already see I'm close to his fort base at 7 minutes.
Under attack.
This is just because I took this base. And as soon as I defend the first 2 medevacs, as soon as I feel safe, I will drone up my fort base again. I will go up. This is a bit of a bad trade. Never trade with Hydras alone against Marines.
Creep tumor under attack.
So this was decent trades for him overall, but this is not bad at all. This is completely fine.
Evolution complete. Not enough.
Just remake the creep.
Swarm
Throwing up the mineral line here.
Attack.
I would have liked to have 6 more drones here. I think that's just a mistake. I actually thought I already had them. Now I see 2 medevacs going here, so I go back with my army. I actually even have some Hydra spawning here. Hive again is already done now. Pop down the Ultra Cavern as soon as it's done.
Under attack.
This is just 1 mine. This is not his main army and I can see that. So,
expended.
but right now I'm in unit production mode anyways. Actually I made some extra drones here, that's fine. This is my 5th base location. I really hate taking this base because of sad tank push. And this would be my 6th base. This would be my 7th. Or sometimes this, if Terran has a strong position on the right side of the map.
Complete.
And yeah, basically as soon as you're... now I see he has tanks, so now I will also... Like now he's again right in front of my base. Usually against tanks you really want Vipers. But in this case I actually saw a Widow Mine and I thought he was going mines. That's why I didn't get any Vipers. So instead what I do now, this would already be too late again to get Vipers. So what I do now is I will do the same, tank with the Queens, just max out on as many Banelings as possible and come from 3 different angles. Also try to split up the Banelings a bit.
Swarm forces under attack.
Yeah, and now just engage. And you will see it's gonna go well for you. If you come from everywhere, the tanks are not that efficient. And you basically just have Hydras everywhere. Even though they have 0 upgrades, I have 2 on the LingBane. The LingBane is what deals most of the initial damage. Armor is the most important upgrade anyways. So we clear this attack. Now I feel safe to start +3 armor. +3 armor is very expensive, so if you didn't shut down the first push yet, you don't necessarily have to make it. Late game is pretty good for Zerg, so as soon as you have ultras out, even if you don't have +3 armor yet, most of the time it's good for you, but if you can afford it, you should get it. +3 armor is really, really, really good. Especially on ultras. And now that I feel safe, I get my additional gases up. I get this, I get missile instead of melee. That's because in late game usually Terran starts playing Mass Liberator and missile is pretty good for shutting down Liberators. That's why I'm getting +1 missile here. And yeah, I also have Overlord somewhat. Like, look at my map vision. There's no way he can drop me. Just try to spread out your Overlords. Try, as soon as you make an Overlord, to like have a purpose for him. Send him to a purposeful position. Like, first I create a ring around my base in the early game, and then the next Overlords, they just get spread out like this, over here. Unless they open Viking, then you should wait until you kill the Viking and then spread them. Or just spread them at some point anyways, the Viking, like...
Command
I've yet to see a Terran that's super good with it. So good that he's active with the Viking for the entire game. So that's the late game. The late game starts with getting Vipers, getting the Infestor upgrade, getting a Spire for Greater Spire. If you want to switch your Greater Spire, you should also go 10 gas, like I'm doing right here.
Swarm forces under attack.
And I basically see he's here again. I now have Ultras. So as soon as my Vipers have the necessary energy, I just go in.
Forces under attack.
I should have actually waited for +3 here. It is actually not important though. Like after crushing the first fight so hard, you can't even take bad fights, and this wasn't even that bad of a fight. At this point you can also up attack Medivacs. Yeah. Don't lose the Vipers, also pretty important.
Sequences.
Yeah, now, like at this point I just know I'm very far ahead. Like at this point you just feel super good. It's all about crushing this very first push. If Terran plays aggressive, this is the most important part. The other style of bio is obviously try to harass everywhere, be like on a high SCV count, harass everywhere, try to just take good trades instead of killing Zerg with a main push, but I think most Terran players are playing like this. Most Terran players that are in like TY or Major will play like this. So yeah, and at this point our army is just about better.
Cluster expended.
Get all the Medivacs.
Swarm forces under attack.
And GG. We can check the units lost. Yeah, we're just very far ahead. So just once again the build order. I'm just gonna go through the build order one more time to make sure you guys all know. And the most important part about ZVT is creep spread, have good map vision, and just react properly. If you want to play defensive, that's the way to do it. If you're good mechanically, or if you're just if you want to get good, if you want to get better at like creep spread, all this kind of stuff, injects, you should focus on it one by one. You should like focus for a couple of days just for creep spread, and you're gonna get automatically better at everything. Even if you just focus on creep spread for one day, you will, for example, not scout or have terrible army movement. Eventually this will become automatic and it's gonna be in your blood basically. So yeah, just focus on things one by one. So the build order is 17 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. I'm just gonna focus on my build order purely right now. Get the Zerg Ling Speed. This is the one where we don't cancel it. We hide a drone here. 4 Zerglings. Drone. 30 or 31. You take this hatchery.
Newly birthed queen ready.
We take this hatchery.
Birth successful.
Inject, very important. With this queen now, we're just running by the way. 31 is our next Overlord. With this queen, we'll put down a creep tumor. Next, this queen will inject again. Wait, 39 queen. 41 Overlord. And just oh fuck, I really wanted to show when to put back the drones. So
Swarm
after Overlord speed, because this is actually probably top 3 most asked questions is when do you put back the drones.
Successful.
After Overlord speed I put the 2 away after 100. And now look.
Swarm forces under attack.
Here with this inject, these first 2 drones I make will be related to gas. You see? Bam. And now you don't have to worry about taking gas for a long time. And yeah, now this is a creep tumor, 4th queen. This will inject, this is a 2nd creep tumor, and I will set my 5th queen here. And I will set my 6th queen here, and then eventually the 7th queen here as well. And you want to have 7 queens. 3 queens, 4 creep queens. Also very safe against any sort of all-in. And that's the early game build order. That's all you need to know. Everything past that point is reactive. Usually you should go lair, like around now when you have 150 gases, or as soon as this queen finishes actually I usually go lair. And then I usually get my second gas. Since it's 3cc, I get my second gas earlier. I go double evo, Baneling nest. And yeah, always go, or you don't have to always go LingBane Hydra. There's also other styles that are very good. You can still go probably LingBane Muta against Bio, but I think LingBane Hydra is good, especially because a lot of mech is good right now, so it's good against both. You can also play Roaches against mech, absolutely. You can also go Roach Hydra Viper against mech. You can also rush Broodlords. You don't have to get Ultra Discs. There's lots of different timings. You can also, with this build actually, you can also, I think you can do if you like playing aggressive, you can stop, you can get 3 gas early and attack with 4 queens and Overlord and Roach Ravager Ling. That's an LN that, for example, Dark does pretty often. You can do like Ling Queen drop all in. There's lots of different all-ins. Like you're a Terran opponent, only because you have Overlord speed, can't play super greedy. Just from seeing you have Overlord speed. Yeah, I hope I didn't forget anything. If I remember something that I forgot here and that I want to add still, I'm gonna mention it in the comments. If you have any questions, you can also always come to my Twitch streams, Twitch TV/LamboKing, and ask there in Twitch chat if you want live responses. You can also ask in the comments down below, and I'm gonna try to respond to those as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. The next tutorial is probably gonna be the ZVZ. And then after the ZVP, because I don't think the ZVP meta is quite defined yet. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it and see you next time.